Hello and welcome to Ilagan Whiteboard Friday. Today we will look at if you have got a term sheet, how you should be going about it. So first of all, what is a term sheet? Term sheet is a first document which actually exhibit serious investor commitment. So you might be in discussion or engaging with the investors and saying that they might be promising, okay, yeah, we will look at it or we'll roll it out. But once they roll out the term sheet, then only you can assume that it is a serious, they have, like it's a go ahead or a yes from the investor side. Now, many people think that term sheet is not very crucial and you can just quickly review it, sign it, and then while at the shareholder agreement or SHA stage, you can go ahead and negotiate with the investor. This is a wrong misconception because this lays the foundation for SHA and it covers all the crucial terms of the deal. So if you have agreed to certain terms of the deal, it is really challenging to negotiate it at a later date. So in my perspective, term sheet is much more important than an SHA because all the important crucial terms of the deal are captured in term sheet. So you should review it thoroughly. You should negotiate it right at the term sheet stage and then only move forward to the next step. Let's look at some of those important points that you think you should be looking at while reviewing the term sheet. The first and foremost is how much is being diluted. So, what is the amount that investor is putting? What is the valuation? What is the so that would give you the dilution. It would also give you what kind of instrument the investors are using. Is it a CCPS, CCD, equity share, or convertible note? Then you have things like anti-dilution. So what anti-dilution means, like say today you are raising money at a 5 million valuation. So the next round of funding, if it is at 4 million valuation, uh, then the investors would also get the current. So for example, like if you have raised 1 million at a 5 million valuation, and tomorrow if you are raising money at a 4 million valuation, then you have to issue additional stocks to the investor for the first 1 million, whereas the valuation, considering the valuation was 4 million. So that's technically an anti-dilution, which is a very fair ask. The point I wanted to highlight here is it should have certain amount of lock. It should not be completely open point like any time in the future, right? So you can give an anti-dilution prevention to them for say 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, next round of funding, or even with a minimum ticket size. So for example, if you are raising say 50k after a while, and then you have to really compromise a little bit on valuation because you really need the cash to run the startup. So at that point of time, so you can tag it like, okay, if we are raising minimum say 250k or 500 or 2 million, something like that. So some kind of tags are important to have. The next point is IRR, which is internal rate of return. So many times the investor says that we need a certain percentage of IRR. So whenever you give them exact, by the time, so if they have put in say $1 million and if you have given us a 15% IRR, so after 6 years, there's whenever they are exiting, say 4 years or 6 years down the line, the money that they will take back will have a minimum IRR of 15%. So again, look at this point with this thing, because this is a equity investment. This is called a risk investment. So technically you should not be guaranteeing any IRR. IRR could also impact your liquidation preferences also. It can be built into there as well. So look at that clause carefully and then take a call ki what is the IRR to be committed. Is that to be 0%, 5% or whatever percentage. Third point I wanted to highlight is the liquidation preference. So again, if they are into preference shares, certainly they will get the money in a preference manner, like they would first take the money out. But is it 1x, 1.5x, 2x? That is where you have to look at liquidation preference. Or is it like I take the money, and in the balance also I get the same share as, say, if I have hold 20%. So first I will take, so how does liquidation works is, suppose I invested $1 million with a 1.5x liquidation preference. So one is, I just say, okay, I take first $1.5 million, and then the rest is split between the equity shareholders. The second example could be, I take $1.5 million and then the balance. So for example, the liquidation value of the company is, say, $3 million, right? So then I say, okay, first I take $1.5 million, and in the balance $1.5 million, I also get, since I hold 20% equity, I get 20% more shares. That is another 300k. So these are small points, but these are important. What is the liquidation preference that you are agreeing to? The next point is founders lock-in and vesting. So typically investors would give you a lock-in. So although you hold your shares, but that would be locked into escrow. So how long? Like, will you be? We have to be with the company for at least 5 years, 10 years, 7 years. So 4 to 5 years to 7 years is a fair ask. But look at this condition. Then comes the vesting. So even though you hold the shares, they are technically not vested. So basically, you will have a vesting schedule defined. Every year you will get, say, 10% or 20% or 25%. So depending on how big is the lock-in and how much is the vesting being offered. So look at what is the founder's vesting schedule. Then there are things like right of first refusal. So right of first refusal is whenever you are trying to, anybody is trying to sell the shares, then it has to be first offered to the existing shareholder at whatever terms you are trying to sell, and then only it can be sold to outside. It is a little more detailed. We have actually covered term sheet in a more wider post in a webinar format. You can check that out, which gives you a much more detailed insight about each terms of the document. So right of first refusal, or there is right of first offer. There are two kinds of clauses, again depending on what suits you the best. So one is called ROFR and ROFO. You should take a call there. Then there are tag along and drag along rights. Again, like when somebody is selling the shares, can other shareholders tag you, or can the investors tag while you are exiting? Or somebody is selling, then can they drag other shareholders also to sell? So these are important finer points which has to be dealt with very carefully, because as the company grows, these points take a lot of significance. Then one of the major section of the term sheet would have reserve matters. So this is a list of items that would need an investor approval whenever you are trying to do something. So things like, if you are raising a future investment, it has to be approved by the investor. These are standard asks, but my point here would be majorly about the limits. So for example, I am putting in $1 million, and if I put a clause, anything above 5 lakh if you spend, you have to take an approval of the investor. Then there is a huge amount of overload that comes onto the founders to take approval for each and every small things. So you should have the limits specified, which is pretty reasonable and acceptable to both the parties. So things like future investment is fine. Then expense control, that's what I mentioned. If you are doing any kind of expense, or if you are hiring a key employee personnel, so how many board seats you are planning to give to investors, and tomorrow if you want to make any changes to the board, then what would be the process that would be followed? Because all these things, as the investor comes in, would need an approval, but how you are making the whole process much more professional and which is easy for you to follow and run the company is important. Then there are things about IP agreement or IP sell or buy purchase kind of thing, or any kind of asset sale. So these are the places where you would see restrictions or any changes to memorandum and articles of association. So it would be a long list of items where the investor would give you, these are the things which would need our approval. So go through this list, don't treat that just as standard because that actually impacts your day-to-day working. That's it on term sheet. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at hello@elagan.com. Thank you.